But welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Wynn, President for the AMA Alliance. Established in 1922, the AMA Alliance is the nation's largest organization representing the physician family. All across America, we have members and alliances that exist at the individual, the county, the state levels. We have physicians and physician spouses and partners whose mission is to build healthier communities. All of our boards are working boards, and we are proud that our members give thousands and thousands of volunteer hours each year. Our members are the heart of our organization, and we are excited today to have you join us for the all-member call featuring the 22-23 Nominating Committee. It is my pleasure to introduce Heather Rifkin, who will run today's call. Heather is immediate past president to the AMAA and chair of the Nominating Committee. She's a pharmacist and is passionate about promoting healthy communities. She's volunteered at the local, state, and national levels for over 15 years. She's from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and her husband, Brian Rifkin, is an interventional nephrologist. They are the proud parents of 2 children. And if you all are a member of our members only Facebook group and a friend to Heather on Facebook, you'll see all the cool things her kids are doing. Heather, welcome, and I turn it over to you and your wonderful committee.
Great. Thank you, Jacqueline, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Before we begin, I want to take just a moment to introduce the 2022-2023 Nominating Committee members who are here with us today. From Western, we have Sybil Noble. And Sybil, if you want to give a little wave so everybody knows who you are. From North Central, we have Grace Wellman. From Northeast, we have Carol Schmitz. And at-large members are Jana Wolf and Danita Horn. And not able to join us today from Southern is Lib Orr. So I'd like to thank my committee for their service this year. They've been amazing. And I just appreciate them joining the call today and being with all of you. So we will go ahead and get started. So nominations for the 2023-2024 AMA Alliance Board of Directors are now open. The deadline for candidates to submit their application materials is February 17th at midnight Eastern. Candidates may self-nominate or may be nominated by another member. So anyone out there, if you know someone who has a talent that you think would be wonderful to share with the Alliance, please feel free to reach out to that individual, get their permission, and then fill out a recommendation form for them. We would love to hear from all of our members. And if you feel like you have a talent that you're willing to share, please self-nominate. As I said, candidates must complete the application process by February 17th. What is the process? So the first thing you need to do is self-nominate by completing the form or have another member fill out a recommendation form for you. You need to complete a willingness to serve form, even if you've already completed one in the past. We need you to submit a headshot on a clear background to the nominating committee and be prepared for a Zoom interview in March. All of this information and all of the links to the forms can be found by visiting the AMA Alliance Members Only website. In the upper right-hand corner are the quick links. Simply click on Nominating 2023-2024 and it will take you to our page. All of the information can be found there. And if you have any questions, you can always email us at nominating@amalliance.org. So what are the qualifications for serving at the board level on the AMA Alliance? Directors must have served on a committee, council, or a task force for 1 year or in an equivalent role, and I'll speak about that in just a moment. Treasurer must have served on the board of directors or on the finance council for 1 year. The secretary must have served on the board of directors for 1 year. To be eligible for president-elect, you need to have served on the board of directors for 2 years. And you can find the complete duties and responsibilities for each position within the procedure for national personnel. And I'll provide you a QR code to access that document a little bit later in the presentation. So with this application process, the committee just wants to explore your talents and strengths. Each of you have unique abilities, and we want to be sure that your skills are utilized. So what exactly is an equivalent role if you're interested in serving as a director at the national level? Perhaps you've served on a school PTA or PTO board. Maybe you have leadership experience within your actual job. Have you served a state or a county alliance or another community entity? All of those would qualify as equivalent roles. And the nominating committee would take a look at all of your information and evaluate that appropriately. So please don't hesitate to submit your information. We would love to have a conversation with you and figure out the best position for you within the AMA Alliance. Currently, we operate on the council systems. We have 6 standing councils. Those councils are governance, finance, membership, communications, programs, and events. So what exactly does each of those councils do, and what positions are available within each one of those? And now we'll be branching off and speaking a little bit about opportunities that are available at all of the levels of the AMA Alliance. So first of all, the Governance Council. That's comprised of the Nominating Committee, which is chaired by the immediate past president, which this year is myself, the Bylaws Committee, which is chaired by the Secretary, and the Strategic Planning Committee, which is chaired by the President. Next, we'll move on to Finance Council. Finance Council is chaired by the Treasurer. All other councils shall be led by at least one director or a chair. And all committee chairs and members of these councils are appointed by the incoming president, who is on this call today. That's Rachel Kunish from North Carolina. Hi, Rachel. So for the position of director, I'd like to emphasize that specific assignments are appointed by the incoming president. When you apply for service with the nominating committee, you're simply applying to be a director. The nominating committee does not decide which area you will be a director over. That is to the discretion of the incoming president. We will give the president information and may make a recommendation, but the ultimate decision is up to the incoming president. Our other councils, membership, events, programs, and communications council, can be led by a director or a chair. And once again, those positions are assigned by the president. For membership, what does membership work on? Mostly membership growth, retention, and state and county relations. If you're looking to serve on events or interested in more information about events, Events Council plans and executes all of our events, whether those are virtual or in person. Programs Council deals with advocacy, calls to action, and any of our national programming. And Communications Council is responsible for managing the communications across all of our channels and publications. Next, we'll move on to another area that we're seeking nominations for, and this is the 2023-2024 Governance Council. These nominations are also open. Candidates should submit their application information by February 17th at midnight Eastern. That is the deadline. Candidates may self-nominate or be nominated by another member. Same procedure, make sure you reach out to that member and obtain their permission before you recommend them for a position. Candidates must complete the process. So what is the process for serving on the Governance Council? Complete the candidate declaration form or be recommended by a fellow member. Complete a willingness to serve form, even if you have filled one out prior, and submit a headshot on a plain background. Details will be constantly provided in the link and on the AMA Alliance website by accessing the quick links in the upper right-hand corner with detailed information for this process also. Names submitted by the deadline will appear in the annual meeting program book and the e-binders. For these positions, there is no interview and the form is much shorter. We are simply collecting names. These positions are elected by the membership by plurality ballot at the AMA Alliance annual meeting. So what positions are available on the Governance Council? We have positions within the Bylaws Committee, we elect up to 4 members to the Bylaws Committee by a plurality vote at the annual meeting. Nominations from the floor will also be accepted. As I mentioned earlier, if you want your name to appear in the e-binder and the annual meeting program book, please submit your name by the deadline, and your headshot will also appear in the book, I believe. For the nominating committee, we're searching for election of 2 at-large members to the nominating committee. Nominations from the floor will be accepted. If you submit your name ahead of time, it will appear in the annual meeting program book and also in the e-binders. Some additional helpful information. The QR code attached will take you to the procedure for national personnel. That's where all of the duties and responsibilities can be found for service at the national level. All of our terms of service are for 1 year, commencing at the close of the 2023 annual meeting. All candidates have to be members in good standing to apply for positions. The opportunities are endless. Have you considered what the opportunities are? Do you have a special skill or talent to share with us? The nominating committee would love to hear from you and receive your application for service. Let us hear your voice. As Jacqueline mentioned in her introduction, this is a membership organization. It is made up of you. You are the backbone. You are going to lead us into the future. So please let us hear your voice. Let us share in your talents and help us move the organization forward. So nominations from the floor. I briefly mentioned this earlier. How does that work? Nominations from the floor for the officers listed and directors will be in order, provided that a willingness to serve form is submitted to the chair of the nominating committee by the time of the nomination. Nominations from the floor for the bylaws committee and the 2 at-large positions on the nominating committee will also be in order, provided written consent of any individual nominated has been submitted to the chair of the nominating committee by the time of nomination, along with the willingness to serve form. And all of this is outlined in our bylaws. So if you haven't read our bylaws or our procedure for national personnel, that would be one of my first recommendations for you, to get to know the AMA Alliance and understand some of our operating procedures and our rules and how we function on a daily basis. That would be step 1. And you can find those documents by visiting the members only website, logging in, and in the upper right-hand corner, clicking on nominating in the quick links. And at the bottom of our page, we have listed all of the links to those documents that you may be interested in seeing. So what are some additional service opportunities? We always have committee, council, and task force opportunities. Those can be appointed and are available year-round. Simply complete a willingness to serve form if you are interested in serving in any capacity, and the president or president-elect will contact you regarding those opportunities. So what are the benefits of volunteering? Volunteering helps you feel a sense of community. We are all physician spouses. We all experience the same struggles and the same joys and elations. So share in those with a community of members who understand you and want to help and support you. It can help you develop lifelong friendships with people across the United States. I never would have met or interacted with a lot of the members of the AMA Alliance had I not pursued service at the state level and then on to the national level. You can learn valuable skills, and you can share skills that you have. So maybe you're interested in learning more about a magazine and how a magazine operates. Then maybe Communications Council is the right place for you. Perhaps you have editorial experience and want to share that with the Alliance. We're always welcoming new members and new faces to join our team. You can expand your perspective, look at things from a different point of view, consider the other options that are available, and talk through things in a discussed and open, transparent manner. That's how we operate at the AMA Alliance, and we would love to have you join our team. It will help you develop time management skills, and I can personally speak to this. Serving as president last year, you do need to balance your time between your family time, if you're working, if you have other volunteer opportunities, and your service as the AMA Alliance president. Those are all valuable skills that help you in your everyday life, because now I have a lot better time management skills. I'm able to accomplish things much quicker and move on to the next task and have time at the end of the day for myself, which is something that I'm sure everyone wants. So if you're interested in developing time management skills, I would encourage you to consider service. Nationwide connections. As I mentioned, all of us are from different states, and you can see Jacqueline asked us to add our state after our name, so you can look and see where everyone on this call is from. I never would have met people from California or Nevada or Massachusetts had I not been involved at the national level. And it's just been an amazing experience. And think about it in your personal life. If you're planning on visiting an area or you need assistance with something in a particular area, you can call on one of your Alliance friends and say, can you help me out? Do you have a recommendation for this area? Or I'll be visiting and I'd love to hear your suggestions for restaurants. So the friendships and the nationwide connections are amazing. You can help us strengthen this organization. As I mentioned before, and Jacqueline mentioned, this is a membership organization driven by you, the members. We need each of you. We need to hear your voice. We need you to share your skills, and we need you to help us move the organization forward and make a positive impact. I am always looking for new faces and always willing to hear a different perspective. How you view the world, how you view things. Maybe things are quite different in the state where you are, or maybe my state can learn something from the way that your state operates or has done a different project. That's one of the benefits of being involved at the national level, hearing the positive impact that others have made in their communities and possibly replicating that in your own to share. So why me? I would ask, why not you? Everybody has a time or a talent to share. If you enjoy meeting new people, this is definitely the opportunity for you. You'll be on a committee or a council with new faces that you've never seen before, or maybe old friends that you haven't connected with in a long time. It's just amazing to hop on a meeting and be able to share, combined experiences and discuss things, and everyone understands where you're coming from. It really, truly is a community. Would you like to make a positive impact on the AMA Alliance? Have you ever looked at something that we did or a project that we executed and think, I wonder why they didn't do it this way? Or what if we could have improved it by X, Y, or Z? This is your opportunity. We're asking for you to step up and serve in the highest capacity that this organization offers. And you can shape where we go in the future. I'm sure each of you have a unique talent or a perspective to share. And once again, we'd love to hear from you. You might be just the missing piece of the puzzle that we're looking for. And that's exactly how the nominating committee is approaching this year. As a puzzle, we want to learn about your unique skills and talents, and then we want to fit those into the best places within our organization to best utilize your skills and make effective decisions for the AMA Alliance. That's the job of the nominating committee. And now I'd like to invite my committee members who would like to share anything to hop in at this point. Is there anybody on the committee who wants to say anything, have a statement or a comment? Grace, Jana? No?
I think you've done an amazing job, Heather, in sharing all about the AMA Alliance. And I would reiterate what you're saying. When I ran for the position that I'm holding on nominations, that's exactly how I did it as far as how you explained it. So, and I'm sure that Danita did it the same way as I. So, Grace, you can probably speak to how you ran for the position you ran for North Central.
Same way, I'll agree with Jana that Heather, you did a remarkable job presenting this. But I think the biggest thing is even like for running as a representative, and that you're representing your region. And so you're taking the voices of everyone that has spoken with you. And when we're at the regional meetings, I heard a lot of input from my fellow states that wanted to know, on the selection process, and submitted names that they felt that, were some great people. And so, yeah, it's like pulling together not just your state, you're pulling all the other states together, and it's kind of fun to see everybody come together as one. And you're also going to learn that on the board. You're representing, maybe as a director or as the treasurer or the secretary, but at the end of the day, you're representing your voice and giving your input to make some decisions and to move the organization forward.
Sybil, Carol, Danita, anybody?
I was just gonna say that, leading in a national position just provides you, and I've been part of the Alliance for 30 years. So there've been times in my life I was more active than others, and that all depended on what was happening at home in my family and the opportunities I had to travel and be part of the Alliance. But the relationships that you make across, the country, when you meet at meetings or now by Zoom. I mean, I can't imagine the number of people maybe I would have known we've been meeting by Zoom 30 years ago. But anyway, it's just it's just a blessing to know so many people in different areas and to work together on a common goal. And as we all know, nobody really understands a medical family like another physician spouse. I mean, it's unlike any other. I mean, we're all blessed, but that doesn't mean it's easy. So it's great to make those connections across the country and share those similarities, but also learn about differences in people that live elsewhere from you. So.
And I'll just share with you all. So the composition of the nominating committee, you can see we have one representative from each of the 4 regions. Each region is free to use whatever selection process they wish to identify their potential representative for the nominating committee. And all of that information can be found within the bylaws, and that will outline the information. But each of those regions selects one member. And the idea behind that is that each person in each region may be familiar with different members from their region who are active potentially at the state or county level, and can share that information with the nominating committee so that we have a selection of candidates from across the United States and not simply focused on wherever the members of the nominating committee happen to reside at that time. And then the 2 at-large positions are elected by the general membership at the annual meeting. So anyone is available to run for those positions. We just do not elect the person. I believe both of them cannot be from the same region, but that is also outlined in the bylaws. So the composition of the nominating committee is such that we would have a representation of members from across the United States, being able to identify potential candidates from states or counties that we may not be necessarily familiar with. I'm from Mississippi in the South, so maybe I'm not familiar with the Northeast candidates, but Carol, as the representative from the Northeast, may know more information about those potential candidates and the skills that they can bring to the table. So that is why the nominating committee composition is such. And just in closing, I just want to share a quote with you. I always like to share a quote. If you noticed last year, I often did that in closing a loop or a link article. This one really spoke to me because everyone can be great and anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And that's from Martin Luther King Jr. So please take the time to consider and open up your heart to the potential opportunities that service at the national level could present to you. And I encourage each one of you to visit the nominating committee page. And if you have any questions, please feel free to visit nominating@amalliance.org. And I'll open it up for any questions that anyone might have.
I have a question, Heather. Would you all maybe, and I should know this, but the exact wording in our policies, I believe that we changed some of the focus in nominating to also consider equivalent service. So it's I believe that the idea was, you know, a lot of people will have service skills or leadership skills from other organizations that are transferable. So it's not necessarily that you have to go through a county and state progression, correct? Could you speak on that?
Sure. So I did speak on that a little bit earlier, but I'll recover that again. So for a director, you need to have served on a committee, council, or task force, or in an equivalent role. And one of those equivalent roles could be activity in your local PTO or PTA. It could be in a community organization. It could be in a JA, a garden club, any organization where you are taking on a leadership role. It could even be in a job where you're accepting a leadership role and expanding your leadership skills. And that's exactly what the nominating committee is looking for when you submit your application. We ask questions, and then during the Zoom interview, we'll elaborate on the information that you provide to us to explore your skills and opportunities and find the best place within that puzzle for service for you that will benefit you the most and the AMA Alliance. And we also have updated the treasurer position to be service for 1 year on the board or 1 year on finance council. So that's a new update. So if you've served on finance council in the past and you have bookkeeping skills, accounting skills, treasurer skills, skills with investing, please feel free to submit your information for the position of treasurer. We would love to hear from you. So we will consider any candidates who submit their name or any recommendations that come forth to us, and we will do our absolute best to find the best opportunities for you for service within our organization. So please feel free to submit your application, even if you feel maybe this is not the right thing for you. Let the nominating committee speak with you during the Zoom interview in March, and let us explore your talents and your skills, and let us see if we can find the place for you. And if you decide not to serve at the board level or in one of our elected positions, Rachel Kunish will be placing committee, council, and task force positions for next year, and she would love to have your name. So any information that is submitted to the nominating committee will then be passed along to Rachel Kunish when we finish our process, so that she can also take advantage of your skills.
Thank you so much for expanding on that.
Rachel, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I do, but I was waiting. So Heather, thank you so much for your presentation. That was very clear, and I think great to kind of talk about, you know, not so much what does the AMA Alliance get from the member, but really what can the member get from service on the AMA Alliance. And that has been for me, you know, when I first started staying home with kids, it was that connection with other folks, and also being able to get together to accomplish a goal, to accomplish those projects. And as you know, go higher in the organization, sometimes it's hard to see the you know, the accomplishment of that project. But I have to say, still at the AMA Alliance, at that level, really you're doing some great things and meeting great people. I love the connection across the whole United States. So that's just been really a great experience for me. And I would really welcome anyone that would love to serve with me to join us. So, but again, thank you. Thanks, Heather. Thank you to the nominating committee and for all the work that you're doing.
You still have plenty of time. So February 17th at midnight Eastern, and you can find all of the information by visiting the members only website and clicking on the nominating and the quick links in the upper right hand corner. I know I've said that a lot of times today, but if that's the one thing you take away, is please visit the nominating page, because the committee and I have worked really hard to make things very clear and easy to understand in terms of what you need to do to either recommend someone or to self-nominate. And so we want to eliminate all of the barriers to your service. We want to make this as easy and as simple as possible. So please visit our website and please consider serving. We would love to have you. Does anyone have any other questions?
Wonder if our youngest member down there has anything to add.
Elspeth, does our youngest member have anything to add?
No, just blowing bubbles. Say hi.
It is such a pleasure to see everyone's kids on these calls. Hi, guys.
And thank you everyone for taking the time to join us today. And please share this information or feel free to recommend someone that you think would be amazing for service.
Thank you, Heather, so much for this great presentation. Again, I think it's just always great how you can crystallize everything. So we are actually way ahead of schedule. So if there are no other questions, I would love to share a couple announcements with you all. I'll share screen. And so our next call for all member call is going to be on February 8th at noon Eastern. We have been working really hard this year to put a focus on legislative advocacy. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we had a fantastic call with Cynthia Brown from AMA regarding the Washington updates. And Beth Irish, who is a director over programs, is on the call. Beth, do you want to give a little overview or plug about this call for Activate Your Legislative Advocacy? Sorry to put you on the spot, dear.
Hey, I'm up and about. Yes, I have to tell you guys, I'm very excited about this call. These Kirk Doan is a known face to most everybody. He's from Missouri. He does their legislative advocacy there and has for a number of years. And it's his passion in addition to his work as a practicing attorney. And he jumped at the chance when he got the correct address, or excuse me, date from us. So he will represent that state's efforts and process for doing legislative advocacy, particularly in partnership with their medical society. Jenny Shepard from Texas, the lady with the blonde hair, I'm very excited for you to all meet. She had not been a member of the Alliance. She has joined, and she leads the first Tuesday advocacy program in the state of Texas. She's been quite active there in legislative advocacy. They're one of the states that works year round, year after year, where the Alliance is very effective in supporting the work of their medical society. And I think Jenny will bring a real clear idea of what a process that's been in place and it's been honed and refined regularly. And then the last two ladies, and they're not last by any means, were given to me on a silver platter from Beth Junwick in Michigan, who is the state president there now. And she offered both of these ladies up, who again, one of them was not a member of our Alliance and is now. And Emberina, the young lady at the top, is comes with a background as a legislative aide in the state of Illinois, and they now live in Michigan. And she's got her feet in the water and is beginning to paddle quickly in Michigan. And she has been paired up there by the Alliance with Jan Utter, who has an interest in this, but has limited experience. So I see them working in tandem to support one another's growth and work for the state of Michigan. I think it's going to be interesting, is what it boils down to see the three different ways of managing the legislative advocacy process for an alliance in these states. Hopefully we will have on the call people from other states who want to add their input or their questions. So I hope all of you can join us, and we'll see you on the 8th. Thanks.
Thank you, Beth. Let me see here. Next also is some upcoming dates. I would really love, what we are trying to do is really populate our forward-facing calendar. These are the dates that are on my radar of upcoming events. I provide this to the board every month, and we are populating our calendar. So currently you see that nominations are open. AHEI grants are also open. Please support AHEI and apply. AMA Alliance awards are open. So all of these links can be found through our webpage. We talked about the all member call, and then Confluence 2.0 is coming up at the end of February. So if there is anything else happening in your state, please give us an email. We would love to promote it, and we would love to also promote it on social media. And then the final thing is Nashville. We really can't wait to see you all. The recommendation last year was to move it to Nashville, Tennessee for our annual meeting, and we are so excited about it. We did a site visit. It was a trip with Rachel and Dave and I, and we really enjoyed the hotel and really enjoyed the city. So those are the end of my announcements. And again, I'd like to thank the nominating committee and Heather and each of you today for coming. Any other final thoughts? All right, I will turn off the recording, but anybody who would like to, we haven't seen some of your faces in a while, feel free to stay on and chit chat for a little while if you'd like. I'll stay on as well.